Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping. It's where we review the top racing card from around the United States. We're going to select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. It's week number 42 of the racing season. Actually, week number 42 is a very, very special number. I was in a row Jackie Robinson, and that is actually the number of the racing season for the Breeders' Cup this week. We are headed over to Del Mar. It is actually just down the highway from me and from one of our handicappers here. It is in Del Mar, California, down in beautiful Solano Beach, California. The late pick four is going to start in race number 6. It ends in race number 9. Of course, they're all stakes in the pick four on. And this is actually on Friday that we're talking about tonight. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. He is in Staten Island, New York for now. Ray Torado. Instead of 2 weeks or 2 months, it is 2 days from tonight. You're going to be down here with us here, and we're all going to the Breeders' Cup on Friday. Nice to see you again, my friend.
That's right. Thursday night, I'll be hopping on the plane out to California. So excited. It's like 3 years in the making. We're gonna redo our shirt. We're gonna renew our shirt. See, that's the 14.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get the 17.
Yeah, absolutely. I am looking so forward to it. All right.
Yep.
Our West Coast handicapper, he is from Temecula, California. I know everybody can breathe a big sigh of release that Joe English was not indicted today by the special counsel. Joe, it is good to see you tonight. And again, in just a couple of days, we're going to be down in San Diego at the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, it's awesome. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. As usual, high quality racing. It should be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right. This is kind of a little bit of a different episode this week because we do the pick four for the Breeders' Cup. Maybe we'll try and keep it a little bit more of a scrum effort than we have in previous weeks. Heck, I might even weigh in with more of an opinion this week, although that's probably not likely. Last week was Belmont Park in Elmont, New York, and unfortunately, we did not hit our pick four. We are actually on a little bit of a 3-race losing streak now. We're a 3-bet losing streak here heading into the Breeders' Cup, but we're going to correct that this weekend, right, guys?
That's right.
I hope at least one day out of the 2.
Yeah.
All right. I've got a brief weather update from Del Mar, California. I want to remind everybody it is currently Monday, and this is for Friday. We actually have a high of around 78 degrees. The forecast does call. Well, there is a 20% chance or likelihood of rain on Friday. Knock on wood, we won't see any rain. There at Del Mar in San Diego. There are a total of 9 races on Friday. I believe there actually are 6 stakes races, although I know 4 of them for today. We're focused on the pick 4 that begins in race number 6 and it concludes in race number 9. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starters ready to pop the gate. It's pick 4 post time.
Bring it.
All right. Let's go.
Breeders' Cup pick 4 post time, no less. All right, race number 6 is the first one that's up here. It is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, a grade 1 event. The purse is $1 million for Fillies 2-year-olds only. You know what? We do not have. I did not see morning line odds out there for it. I had thought that in all likelihood we might see a morning line favorite, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of post number 5. Aiden Bryan has sent in a very classy horse named Happily that's in there. And I also know that Chad Brown has an undefeated horse out in the 13 post named Significant Form. I would imagine that one of those two will be the morning line favorite, but we do not have a morning line just yet.
Yes, we do, Rich.
Oh, we do. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Go ahead, Joe.
I actually, it's funny. I have odds. It's a 14-horse field. Somehow my printout, I only got 12 horses, but I think the morning line favorite is the horse in the 11th post. The winner of the Jessamine at Keeneland, Rushing Fall, is 7-2.
Yeah, 7-2
on the morning line.
There you have it. And Joe, you know what? Since you've got the correct one there, why don't you go ahead and take it away? Give us your thoughts on the Juvenile Filly Tour.
Well, it's funny. Being that the pre-entries come out so early, I've had a chance to watch a lot of video. And believe me, Rushing Falls race and Jessamine was very impressive. The problem is she's going to have to come from, well, in that race, she came from basically the back of the pack and be, in a 13, 14 horse field. I'm not sure it's going to be that easy to do in a field of this quality to come from that far back. So I got a chance to see Happily run a couple of times. Watched her races in Europe, and she's the real deal. She drew really well. I don't know that she'll be my top pick. It's still a little early, and because as Rich was talking, the weather is at least variable right now, which probably plays into the Europeans' hands. But there are some who prefer softer turf, some prefer firmer turf. But happily can run, and I honestly think that she probably will be the favorite going off. I'm not sure what the favorite's going to go off at. I'm guessing 7-2, 4-1 is about right. But again, I think she's done really well in a couple of grade ones over there. I want to say she even beat the boys at one point, but maybe actually I should look at my PPs before I say that. But she, again, I think she's obviously a threat. Yeah, she did beat the boys at Chantilly on Arc Day, so she'd be a threat. There's a horse in here. I mean, I also like September. I watched her last race, and I saw that she was basically cut off and really exploded when she got the chance to run late in that race. She finished second by a nose, and maybe she'd be a decent price at 6-1. The 10 post probably doesn't help her. Again, since this course is, I mean, I know they made it wider, but when you're running in the 10, 11, 12 post, even further out, you're going to have to make a decision that you're either going to have to gun or you're going to have to drop way back. And again, I've already talked about not wanting a horse that has to come from 11th or 12th in this field. But there is another horse I kind of like a little bit, and that's the 7, Capla Temptress. She actually came from Europe, and she kind of raced in the race she ran up at Woodbine. She had a nice trip. She sat in behind horses. She was covered up, and she came running really well when the money was down.
Which
It was
horse was
sort of
this?
like a
Joe, I'm sorry.
European type trip. So if like I said, if I had to go right now, Happily and Capla Temptress should be my top 2 picks. Again, it's still a long time before Breeders' Cup. We still got about 72 hours before Ray even gets here. So we're about 96 hours until Breeders' Cup. But again, I would think the 2 and well, I should include September. The 2, the 7, and the 10 would probably be my top choices. Not a lot in the way of a variance from the favoritism, but again, the idea is in a pick 4 is to get alive, get through the first leg, and this race is pretty wide open, and you can go any number of ways. So I would just say Happily, Capla Temptress, and September would be my top 3 picks as of right now. I'm sure our East Coast handicapper may have a different opinion. So Ray, take it away.
Oh yeah, the entry just come out, so we should start to look at the past performance now. And from what I can see in this race, it's really wide open. I can see us going 6, 7 deep in this race very easily. I mean, the horses you mentioned definitely affordable. I do like also Capla Temptress. Just the winner of the Natalia, grade 1 at Woodbine. She did get a little breather for 47 days, so she just coming in fresh. A few other horses who ran that race have run a race after that, so Billy Mott decided just to lay her off and give her a little breather. So she might be in here fresh. Obulation here, Pletcher and Velasquez has a shot here. One open lengths in the Saratoga, and the Peter Johnson, Miss Grillo had a bad trip, came in third, so we'll forgive that one. I do like also significant form. The winner of the Miss Grillo in Belmont, Chad Brown, shipping out there. He's got a few of them. Also rushing 4. So we have a lot of horses here. So, we're going deep in this race. Rich, what you got to say here? This is here. Yeah.
Ray, you were breaking up there at the end. Did you hand that one off to me?
Yeah, it's you, Rich.
Okay, I was trying to get your numbers there. I got the 2. I got the 13. Did I also get the 10? Was that the 10 that you were talking about? I heard Pletcher's name come up.
Pletcher was the 6. Obulation.
Oh, okay, the 6th. Okay. I'm sorry. My forms are all
Evan
messed up here.
Capital
So that's
Temptress. The 10 was September. That's Joe's horse.
okay. You
Oh,
guys,
the
I see what
8.
it is. You guys will have to give me your numbers at the end. The form that I pulled this afternoon apparently still had the old numbers still in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this, this they only updated Friday for now.
All right. So like I said, you'll have to give me yours at the end because my numbers are not matching up to what you've got. As the names were coming
Okay.
up, I didn't have those there. So I kind of was buying into what Joe was saying, and as you guys have seen before, these are a couple of my bobblehead dolls, a couple of the favorite buddies that kind of show up on the show every once in a while. And I keep thinking that maybe if we pull these guys apart right there, I thought that maybe we've just got less space right here that we have for an Aiden O'Brien doll. So Joe kind of caught on to what I was thinking about as well. I did like as my top pick in this one, though. I think I went all the way back to my boy Chad Brown. I decided that I couldn't just toss him arbitrarily, and in an attempt to try and get some kind of a price, I thought maybe I would go ahead and put significant form. You've heard us talk about this before, but the horse is 2 for 2, has already gone around 2 turns, which is what a Del Mar 1 mile turf race is a 2 turn race. And as you see there, the second race is the Miss Grillo. It was a grade 3, and it's got a couple of other good competitors in there. So I thought Chad Brown was worthy of going on my top line here. And I did put the 13 as my top pick. And then I backed it up by breaking our rule. So I went ahead and I did split O'Brien's. I did not use September, and I just used the 6. I used Happily. Again, I heard Joe talking about this already. The horse is 4 for 6 lifetime with 1 second place. The second place was in a race against the boys. So I assume that Ryan Moore would be the jockey, and I didn't see if that had already been announced. And so that was my second pick was the 5. And my third pick is a long shot with possibly a price like that. And initially I was thinking about going, crazy on the cheese whiz with this one was Juliet Capulet. But now hearing and seeing Joe and Ray, I would actually side towards the 2 as well. But again, a lot of classy horses from overseas. We've missed this one before. That was one of the things that played into my decision making. If you two are wondering, well, how did significant form get on Rich's top line? Was when we 3 broke guys were together a couple of years ago on the Friday. If you'll remember the Friday show, the Friday episode, or not the Friday episode, but the Friday of it, we actually placed our pick 4s and our faith in the Euros winning the turf races. And as it turned out that day, as a matter of fact, we may have seen. I'm trying to remember who it was that we saw that day. We might have seen like a young lady Eli or something. But the American horses actually showed themselves pretty well there in California on that California turf horse. So if we don't get rain, I was thinking that possibly I'll stick with the California horse, and I went with Chad Brown. So let me go ahead and I will come on back to you guys. If I can find where my button is. There it is. Okay. And we are going to go ahead and move along to race number 7. This is one of my favorite races. This is actually the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. It's a grade 1. Again, purse is $1 million. And I guess I should say, just before Joe corrects me there, especially this is kind of important. This is actually the Las Vegas Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, a grade 1 purse, $1 million. It's for 3-year-olds and upward. And you know what? Again, I do not have the odds on here, so one of you want to take it away and give us our morning line favorite. Ray, Joe,
You call me?
have one of you guys got the morning line
Ray,
favorite here?
Yeah, we have more spirits 3-1.
3-1. There you go.
Yeah,
Trained by Bob.
3 more spirit. Yeah, Bob Afford and Accelerate 7-2.
There we go. All right, Ray, you called the odds. You're up first on the Dirt Mile. Who do you like at the Breeders' Cup in the Dirt Mile?
This is gonna be a very speedful race. I tell you, we have horses here; they're gonna be flying. I think so. You got to Accelerate. He beat Arrogant in the San Diego. Maybe beat other horses too, but he just romped in that race, and so 1 mile here, they push him, cut him back a little bit. He should be doing good. Also, more spirit. winner of the mile. We see him last in Belmont Stakes Day. He too 133 over there in Belmont. So he's a mile or two. So they can go speed and they're gonna be finishing hard. Um, by him we've learned to love him as a miler. He's 5 for 7 at the distance, and he really going into his own. So those three right there. That would be also man the horse from I was on the Derby Trail turned into actually a nice little miler there, Practical Joke. Back in distance, he won the. Cause the only thing about him is that 2 turns, he's had a little difficult with negotiating. I'll give him a shot, and he won the Haskell, and Jokin's grade 1 at Saratoga, so he's developing very nicely too. So those would be my horses. You got the 6 More Spirit, the 8 Accelerate, 10 Practical Joke, and the 3 Sharp Attacker. All right, Joe, get the dirt mile here.
Yeah, it's funny. I think if we're gonna go deep in the race, in a lot of races, and I think the first race we obviously talked about, we probably would go deep. I think we got to narrow at some point. Honestly, other than the 4-month layoff, I'm not sure. I mean, More Spirit's got to be the horse to beat. He's been able to win around 2 turns multiple times. He dominated Sharp Azteca in the Met Mile. Again, that was going around 1 turn, and Sharp Azteca is a good horse. He's been able to win going 2 turns at least once before. The Monmouth Cup wasn't. I mean, it's a 2-turn race, and the horse actually was able to rate a little bit, but there really wasn't much in that field for him to beat. So basically, I think that was just almost like a paid workout, where the horse in front of him was basically a target, and he was going to go by, and basically he went by as he pleased. But More Spirit, I mean, he sat right off of him in the Met Mile, right off of Sharp Azteca, and basically blew him away. So I mean, to me, those are the 2 you have to beat. I'm not as big a fan of Accelerate. I'm not sure what. I'm not sure if he just freaked that day against Arrogate. I mean, he did not run as well as at least I thought he would run against Arrogate and I'm trying to remember Collected when they ran the Pacific Classic. And I'm not sure what to do with him. If I was going to take one long shot in this race, I would take the 9. I like Battle of Midway a little bit. I watched the last couple of races that he's run. The Oklahoma Derby wasn't really all that fantastic, but the race, the Shared Belief, when he beat Gormley and Klimt, horses who had actually run well at Del Mar last year, 2 back, I think that was a really decent race, and I was actually kind of hoping that more pace would show up in this spot. I'm not sure you're really going to get. I mean, I know you're going to see Gato del Oro probably on the lead, and I would expect. I guess maybe Accelerate will go early as well, and Sharp Azteca. So maybe the 3 of them will run a faster pace. And if that's the case, I would kind of like Battle of Midway's chances to at least clunk up for second, maybe play him underneath More Spirit in the Exacta. So to me, again, it's if this would be probably on Friday, the spot that I would single, be most likely to single. Again, he is going to have to overcome the 4-month layoff, but I think More Spirit's really the one to beat here. And again, I would probably play Sharp Azteca and Battle of Midway on a deeper ticket. So I would go 6, 3, and 9. So I guess the baseball numbers for me in the dirt mile. Rich? I'm sorry, Rich. Rich, I can't hear you. I'm not sure if Ray, can you hear him?
No, you know what? I did it again. I was on my mute button there. I was just letting you guys look at Bob Baffert there for a little bit there, so that bobblehead doll got to kind of go in there and let that. No, I was saying when More Spirit was last seen, he was on the precipice of turning into kind of like a super horse. It looked like as one of the older horses, the 4-year-old that had come back from the 3-year-old season. So Baffert let us know back in June. I think that he was planning on training him up to the Breeders' Cup, which is a little bit of an unusual decision with all the big money races that were out there for the older horses. But as Joe had mentioned, he did handle Sharp Azteca once before, quite handily there at the Met Mile. He does have 3 wins in a row. His last second there was to Opportunity, and then to Mind Your Biscuits all the way back last year on opening day in the Malibu. So if Baffert has kept him sharp, which it looks like he has with those recent workouts, I wouldn't see. Again, this is going to be a very difficult sequence. I'm not so sure I can single here with More Spirit, thinking that Sharp Azteca deserves to still be on the ticket with his speed and the way this track plays. If I had more, I need more in the later races that are coming up and the race before it. So I was trying to stick really with just a More Spirit, Sharp Azteca, and just those 2. And as I believe me and Bob are already back to you guys. I guess. How you guys doing? All right. I am going to go ahead and I will move us along to our next race here. We are on to race number 8. This is the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, a Grade 1. Purse is $1 million for colts and geldings, 2-year-olds only. Again, I'm going to have to rely on you guys. Who is our morning line favorite here? Because I do not have that information available.
Mesa.
Mesa.
Mazar. Yeah, post 6, 9-2 morning line.
Yeah,
9-2 morning line favorite.
Yeah.
Joe, you are up first on the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf with a 9-2 morning line favorite. Tasty. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, I was just looking at my PPs because I wanted to take a look at something. It's funny. A lot of the horses who I would have liked had they run in this spot opted to go elsewhere. So I'm kind of, I guess I'm going to go for. I mean, I guess the good thing is, whoever the winner is, if 9-2 morning line holds, you're going to get double digits in the win pool. But I guess the horse I'm going to take as my top pick as of right now would be the 4-horse Catholic Boy, who ran pretty well in a race at Saratoga. I'm trying to get the name of it now. The With Anticipation, to win by a length. I thought that the horse took a little bit of time to quicken, and maybe this might be a little short. I kind of think he might do better at a longer distance, but he drew well. He's 12-1 on the morning line, and Jonathan Thomas has a really nice win percentage. Again, this is another horse who's trained up to the Breeders' Cup. The horse has been off since Saratoga, and again, because I don't know, I'm not sure if the riders have been assigned yet. Manny Franco was on last time again at Saratoga. Not sure what the plan is. Again, undefeated horse. Horse is going to have to navigate through a 14-horse field. But the horse generally, the horse has some tactical speed, being fifth and sixth early in his 2 races. So he hasn't necessarily had to come from way back. So he should have some tactical speed. Hopefully he'll be able to get a nice trip. And again, this race, like Ray was saying earlier about the Juvenile Filly Turf, this race is wide open as well. The other horse I kind of liked a little bit was the 5, Beckford, who ran behind U.S. Navy Flag last time out in not a bad effort. Also had a chance to watch the horse's races at the Curragh, and I'm not sure if maybe the horse just preferred the Curragh as opposed to running at Newmarket, or if U.S. Navy Flag was just better than him that day. I mean, but the horse wasn't embarrassed. The horse only lost by 3.5 lengths that day, or is it 3.25? And the horse was 7-2 against U.S. Navy Flag that day. Again, another horse who drew well. I would be hesitant to take horses that drew, post 12, 13, 14, because a mile on this turf course, the first turn comes up real quick. So I would be very happy taking the 4 and the 5, Catholic Boy and Beckford. Again, probably a race we would have to go deeper in But those will be my top choices, at least for now. The 4 and the 5, Catholic Boy and Beckford, right?
It's, yeah, you're right. The first turn comes up very quickly here. Uh, this race definitely is going to need a lot of analysis. I mean, we have 14 horses, and they just drew the post now, and some speed on the outside, weight on the outside, like hemp hooray. I like him. He's won a couple sprints, and they stretched him out in a summer stake, and just lost by a neck. Had the lead. Actually tried to rate him a little bit, coming from second, third. He was on the pace, and this horse was kind of um the mediocre middle time home very fast. So the 23 quarter last quarter pretty fast for me. The home horse here was encumbered. Redding Stables. Handpack Boy was actually 8-1. Did run twice. These two at Delmar turf. He likes the course. Redding Stable. What can I say about them? They've had a lot of big winners throughout the years. Simon Callaghan or Mario Gutierrez. So this horse tried the front runner. Didn't run too well. So they're going back to the turf. Maybe his favorite surface. They give him a shot there. Also on Tame Domain, race in the summer, he closed into that fast last quarter, so that's pretty impressive. But in that partnership, a lot of bonus there. So if that horse wins, you can have a crowded winner circle there. Maybe we'll join too. Also, one other horse I wanted to mention was Voting Control. Chad Brown broke his maiden very impressively at a mile with a big figure. The Pilgrim didn't run too well, but kind of had a little trouble there, squeezed, and did go wide. So still came in second. So I give the host a lot of credit, and he's also 8-1. So you can have a lot of prices here. Good budget there. We could be going again 7, 8, 9 deep in this race. I like this one. Juvenile.
I think I just stuck with my new bobblehead that I was trying to pick out there, which was the Aiden O'Brien one, and I went with the U.S. Navy flag.
He's not in the field, Rich.
Okay, I had a feeling about that. I was like, wait a minute, neither one of you guys have touched on that, so he must have not come across.
No, he's actually. I think they're actually running him in the Juvenile on the dirt.
Yeah,
let me see here. I don't think I marked anybody else on my sheet here. As I said, unfortunately, I saved over my choices this afternoon and things like that. So that was the one choice that I did have as my top one that I knew that was in there. I am going to skip and pass along to my part. I don't even know if Nelson is in there then.
No, he's not coming in.
He's not here. No.
All right. Let me come on back. Okay. And let's move along to the finale. On day number 1. Go ahead, Ray.
This is all subject to change. This is we get the whole week. We're gonna got a long flight. We're gonna nail the story.
Race number 9, and they are going 1 mile and an eighth. It is the Breeders' Cup, it is the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff. It's a grade 1, and the purse is $2 million for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. I am not sure. I know there are 9 starters, I believe, in my original form. I was hoping that the morning line favorite I would have thought would have been Stellar Wind, but I'm not sure.
She is, Rich.
Yeah, 5-2.
5-2.
Yeah, 5. Yeah.
Ray, over to you for the finale, the Breeders' Cup, the Longines Breeders' Cup Distaff.
It's a short field compared to all the other races, 8 horses. I'm going short here. I do like Stellar Wind. What can you say? She's 5-year-old. She's been running against some, she's beaten Beholder a few times. been battling Validor, and she's handling her this year. And I saw Sal today in an interview, and he says that he didn't want to prep her before the race. She's coming off the July layoff, give her a little freshening, and she's been training tremendously. So Del Mar, so he's very confident. I'll go with that. 3 for 3 this year. She's 3 for 3 in Del Mar. Espinosa. What can you say? So home court, Stella win. She's been finishing the best. So this is field for a host like that. Top. Also like Abel Tasman a little bit. She's a developing 3-year-old who's been. She's gotten like 4 grade ones, I believe, and she's been as a 3-year-old. So now she gets for all the horses. She gets 3 pounds from Stella win. So that could make a difference. You never know. 3 pounds could be a lot. Good race. A few other horses here if you could consider. If you're going deep here, Elate's in big form on the East Coast. And Paradise Woods is definitely the horse to catch. Deep here, probably Stella Win and Abel Tasman. Joe, what do you about the distaff? So, great races throughout the years, this race.
It's funny. It's probably the most interesting of the races tactically, being that, and Rich, I'll let you know, It Is Well is the only horse in the PPs that you have who is not going in this race. The field is a field of 8. But to me, it's funny because I looked at the race and I was like, especially now that It Is Well is not in the field, it's like, wow, I kind of wonder if Paradise Woods isn't going to be alone on the lead. And when she's alone on the lead, if you look at her PPs, the 2 races she's been alone on the lead, the 2 stake races, she's ran fantastic. And at 9-2, she's somebody you have to include on your ticket because, again, I don't know that there's going to be anybody who's going to go with her early. I mean, unless for whatever reason they sacrifice Mopitism at 30-1. I guess Romantic Vision could be the other horse that goes with Paradise Woods early. But I don't know that Romantic Vision is fast enough to make Paradise Woods go any faster early than Flavian Pratt will want her to go. Again, I'm assuming Flavian Pratt will be on. The other day when I was at Del Mar, he was on Paradise Woods when she was out on the track working that morning. So she's dangerous. But what's funny is the horse I really like is a horse who probably, and again, because I don't know what the track profile is for this race. And of course, since we haven't, they haven't run any races at Del Mar, we haven't actually been able to watch any races. I mean, for the fall meet. The fall meet only starts, I think, on Thursday. Is it Thursday or Wednesday? But the horse I really like, and again, I got a chance to watch video. I like Forever Unbridled. I like her chances. I think she ran down Songbird when Songbird had an easy lead at Saratoga. I mean, again, so obviously Songbird wasn't necessarily herself, but still, that's not easy to do. And if you look at the last 2 races she's run, Brian Hernandez hasn't had to hit her once with the whip. I get the race before the Songbird race, but she beat Songbird without having to use the whip. I just think she's coming in. I mean, she's in a really nice spot. I just hope, and I don't know, like I said, based on what I was saying earlier, I just don't know if she's going to get enough pace to run at. But if she ran down Songbird without having to have much pace to run at, again, this is a tough field. But I know where she's going to be early. She'll be towards the back of the pack. And again, it's only an 8-horse field, so she doesn't have to beat, she doesn't have to beat 12 or 13. She's only got 8 to beat. Again, fantastic field. You could go in a lot of different directions. There's been a lot of made of Elate, who is this morning line second choice at 3-1. For Bill Mott, who's had a few winners of this race in the past, Royal Delta to name a few. And Stellar Win, like Ray was saying, is 3 for 3 over the track. Is it 3 for 3? She's I know she's 3 for 3 this year. And I know she won the Clement Hurst last time out. And again, Sadler training her up to this spot. But again, to me, like I said, this is the most interesting race tactically because I mean I kind of like the two horses that would be coming from opposite ends. Paradise Woods up in the front. If she can get an easy lead, she's going to be dangerous. And Forever Unbridled coming from the back, and she's 4-1. So the betting in this race seems like it's going to be wide open, other than maybe Mopatism being probably the longest shot by a pretty easy margin. So I guess it would be the 6 Forever Unbridled and the 7 Paradise Woods as my top picks in the distaff. In like I said, what I think is a very interesting race. Rich?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of think if they don't unretire Beholder, that Stellar Wind's probably going to take this race. But I agree. I think it's a very competitive race. I think Able Tasman and Elate could definitely upend her and could beat her. They're very competitive horses, and I like the analysis that I've heard here so far. I have my check mark on Stellar Wind. She's won 3 in a row this year, and as you heard Ray already allude to, kind of like Bob Baffert did with More Spirit, John Sadler chose. There's nothing wrong with the horse. He chose just to train her up to the Breeders' Cup and skip all the lucrative dirt races on the East Coast. She's beaten Valdori those last 2 times. Valdori is a very solid horse, if you're not aware of that already. And again, if you look down there and you're looking for the last time that she did lose a race, Stellar Wind's last loss was to Beholder on a day when she was second choice. I'm assuming Victor Espinoza will be in town to ride her, and I'm going to stick with Stellar Wind as the top choice. I would not argue with anybody who includes on their pick 4 tickets horses like, well, as you are right there, Paradise Woods, who will probably be on the lead, or if you like Elate or Able Tasman, all sensational horses. Let me come on back to you guys. All right. So we are done there. Are we ready to go ahead and put up a pick 4 ticket for this one for this week, or do we want to hold off until later in the week to go ahead and assemble our pick 4 ticket?
I don't know, Rich. If I'm not sure. Again, I don't think I'm ready to make a
Yeah, me
commitment
either.
on things.
Yeah, me either.
So, folks, for those of you who are watching with us tonight, that was kind of our preliminary look at the opening day, Friday, of the Breeders' Cup. It's just those first 4 races. We are going to be back a little bit later in this week at some point in time, probably with Ray right next to us, hopefully at that point in time, to go ahead and take a look at the bigger day on Saturday. We'll see if we have some proposal or something interesting for you on that day in addition to our pick to our Breeders' Cup. Ray, Joe, do you guys have anything you wanted to share before we go ahead and sign off for the evening?
No, like I said, other than watching the weather forecast, because there is a chance of some moisture, and again, that could play into the hands of the Europeans. And like I said, I want to really take another look at the juvenile turf race, because I think a lot of the horses, like you were talking about U.S. Navy flag, Rich, there are horses in there who I didn't look at strongly enough, figuring, okay, because there's, O'Brien's going to have at least 1 or 2 in here, and some of the horses didn't go. So I'm going to have to take a look at that race again and maybe watch some more video probably tonight before I go to bed.
Yep.
So again, and maybe what we'll do is we can put something up on Facebook, maybe sometime Thursday. Once we can solidify more opinions, and we at least will be a little bit more certain about the weather.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have a lot of time. Then I have Thursday. I'll be all day traveling, so we have a nice time to analyze all these races, and we'll be with the weather and stuff, and big fields, and try and budget out money correctly, and single what we have to single, because there are some good horses. There will be some singles. I want to mention also that one of our big probably singles, both the Olo, drew 11, post 11. So that's that could be an equalizer for that field. So in the Juvenile.
Cool. All right.
In the Classic, he saw Arrogate. He post 1. So Very
All right. Well, I'll hear that a little bit later this week. All right. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we're going to be back a little bit later this week to kind of give you a little bit more of what Ray's talking about, because of course that's what the three broke guys do.
Mhm.
We're going to get together to take a look at another exciting card. This time it is the lucrative Saturday Breeders' Cup card that is down here at Del Mar in beautiful San Diego, California. All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It is always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
Yes, always.
See you later in the week.
Yes, definitely looking forward to it.
For Joe English and Ray Toronto, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.
Good night. And look for us at the track. We'll be there.